let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Let's get some more. Have your hands. Get some more. Just get some more.
Hello, everyone out there in Whiskey Land. Welcome to My Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. And this evening, we are down a member or two, and it's just Mike and I. So we're hoping Morgan feels better and Mitch is just having a good day at work.
We hope.
That is the case. So this evening, we are going to be diving into some more of the Omahaul, and we are going to be looking at Sideshow Spirits, which is pretty interesting because, like, when we were talking to Mitch, is like, what have you found there? This is Nebraska's or Lincoln's very first legal distillery that they had. Pretty interesting. He was excited about some of these releases, and even one of them's a special vodka release. So I'm excited about that too. But before we go any further, my lovely compatriot, would you like to tell people about the Bar Cart Co-op?
Oh, yeah, I would. All right. We are proud members of the Bar Cart Co-op, which is a collection of friends who create content for the whiskey and other distilled spirits public. The Bar Cart Co-op YouTube and Facebook pages have information about upcoming and past special shows, which happen about every quarter. There are blind tastings, distiller panels, discussions of special collaborations, and the usage of unique grains. The Bar Cart Co-op has educational and fun episodes for your enjoyment. The oldest show in the group is Distillers Talk, hosted by Alan Bishop and Christy Atkinson. This is a conversation with people from distilleries and distillery adjacent that gets into deep and sometimes off the rails and back again discussions with their interviews. New episodes arrive at the end of the work week. And if that one is not nerdy enough, please check out One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute. This is the show where Alan Bishop answers any questions about distilling and often puts them to the test. It could be individual grains, mash bills, equipment, or methodology. New episodes come out randomly, so subscribe. And then we have the Bourbon Turntable, where they mix the love of music with the love of whiskey. They have conversations with musicians, writers, distillery folks, and common folks about music and whiskey. It releases every Wednesday on all your platforms, including YouTube. Then there is If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything, which is a show about the spirits and paranormal among us, as well as the unexplained and the spiritual. Subscribe on Spotify to get the 4 previous seasons and the 5th season, which is going on right now. And last but certainly not least, we got David Levine with the Whiskey Ring podcast. David does good interviews. David takes really good notes. David has good award shows. He does all the things that we don't like to do.
Thank you, Mike, for that. Oh, and like I was just telling Adina, I heard back from Emily from Valkyrie. Sorry, yes, I can't speak. I had Beaker. Threw an L in there. Sorry, I was thinking about talking to me different distilleries. But Emily, they will be on the show. We just have to work out on a date with that to fit her in. So I was going to say that will be very interesting. So just want to make sure she knew about that. Cool. Mike, I think we should start with this Elliot. I think the vodka is probably.
I was gonna say alphabetically, and that also fits. So.
Oh well, yeah. Look at that! I like that.
And just preemptively, even though I'm traveling, I do have all my gear, but I don't have multiple glasses, so I do want to do a blend at the end. I just won't have it sit.
That's fine. I'm gonna tell you right now, with your setup right now, you sound like very disc jockey.
Well,
I like it. I like
in memory of Dr. Johnny Fever.
Yeah.
Booger. And so, I gotta say, I think Mitch thought we were mocking him.
Oh,
I like these.
Yeah.
For people that can't quite tell, the sides of this. One thing I would say, because of how the bottles are, they don't they're tapered, so they don't fit side by side, and it's not like you're going to invert one of them. But it is a flip top. They are very pliable, which means they're not going to break. But the flip top's got a little, so you can squirt out of there. So yes, we were having fun doing this. Sure, but it's actually a cool bottle. And he's like, "Oh, they're just Amazon." But they're cool. Good choices.
Yeah, I agree completely because they're very sweet.
Speaking of sweet.
Yeah, well, that is some of the notes.
I like light whiskey. Light whiskey has just got this wonderful little nose. Sorry, you're going to see my arm reach across this.
I don't care. I like it. Break that fourth wall. I'm just kidding.
I think light whiskey gets a bad rap.
It is highly underrated, especially with some of the ones we've had that have been they've been outstanding whiskeys, even as light whiskey. And typically, they usually come in at a higher proof than you would expect.
Yeah.
And are a little bit of a butt kicker in that aspect. But
the one from Dancing Goat, that was good.
Oh, yeah.
That one, the name's escaping me. Mike from Colorado.
Oh, Copper Sky.
Copper Sky. That one was excellent.
Yes. That I did have that. I shared that with my boss at work because it was, I'm like, here, you want to try some? Yeah. This is
and the
really nice light. Well,
the Obtainium light whiskey.
Those don't even count.
Uber has that. Yeah.
72, 74%. And it's like, I'm thinking it's 40. 40.
Well, and the one that are the gingers made. But they had aged it to become a Starka.
That's true.
That was gorgeous.
So this one is aged in just 50 proof or 50% ABV, 100 proof, finished in new American oak barrels. I'm getting.
Yes, thank you, Neil. Mike Root.
Yes. That didn't. Sounds like he got hosed on that deal too. So sorry, Mike, on that.
Yeah, but I mean, the guy had a lot. Well, he was an entrepreneur. He had a lot of other things going. Give his care to a lot of things, and so I have no doubt he will be on his feet. But I hope he gets some justice out of that.
Yeah. I would say it's not like I was worried about him in particular compared to other distillery owners.
No.
So,
I mean, it's kind of so. I was doing last week, did a tasting. Someone was talking about whiskey notes, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not very nuanced in it. I don't get it." And I said, "Listen, it was a bourbon." I go, "Everyone's going to say vanilla. Everyone's going to say spices, and there's just the standard ones that you come off. What you want is what jumps out and what's different. That's what I like about light whiskey is it's just different enough where it's like, oh yeah, it's these nice candied vanilla flavors, kind of like the what were those cowtail candy. Okay. Yeah.
Lightly toasted marshmallow. Citrus.
Actually. Oh, that's what the Majescas. That's the other one. Yeah. Majesca. I had some of those from a place in Louisville right before Christmas and brought them home, and I was really happy when some members of my house did not like them. Like, bummer.
It is nice. It's like at least this container's safe.
Yeah.
Okay. Oof.
Wow. Just Sorry, you can't see the color because I'm using my travel cup.
Hold on, I can do that. That was dark. I mean, darker than you'd think for some light whiskeys, but right in that color tone.
I said that even though I was doing this earlier. So yeah, sorry, brain is not quite out there. Been a long day, folks.
We got the light in the way. Never mind, that's not the best way to do it. Actually, it's taken a while for some legs to develop on it, so it's looking a little more oilier than I would have expected. But otherwise, they're All right. Otherwise, like light caramel, like I said, light toasted marshmallow, little citrus. I'm gonna go lemongrass, maybe more than citrus, but not a whole lot. And I'm gonna say not a whole lot else. I'm gonna have a stuffy nose, but that's the bulk of what's coming at you.
Yeah, the other thing, well, on the palate, the finish. I'm writing my notes because I'm still going to do that because I have to, but I'm improvising on a piece of paper. So let me write this.
You keep writing. I'm surprised by how it's very silky quality.
Yeah. So, okay, what it reminds me of on the finish is they haven't had them for quite a while, but there was one of the stores by me had these dipped marshmallows. They were smaller, not the huge, not the little ones, not the big ones, but they had dipped ones, but they weren't all the way dipped. They were only partly dipped. And so they had a vanilla bean marshmallow dipped in chocolate, and that finish reminds me of that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that. I was surprised by how velvety it was as rolling out in the tongue. So the oiliness I was getting was really there.
I like that quite a bit. The SS Elliott Sideshow Spirits.
Yeah, it's like, for me, it's like getting a light mouthful of like toasted marshmallow fluff, but it, like more flowing than that. Like it rolls around. But
like, what if you had a spoonful of marshmallow fluff
and one of those torches
with a good caramely bourbon?
See, I could be okay with that. But I mean, like almost like whip it up a bit, not just right out of there. You got to get it a little runnier. But yeah, this is, and not a lot else, but very smooth. Oh, hey, Paul, good to see you. Dave,
if there was ever anybody that we knew that maybe was really good at cocktails, we're like, hey, what about a cocktail that had strong bourbon notes and was topped with marshmallow, toasted marshmallow?
But there's different things here. Just the toasted marshmallow as a garnish, or do you, like I was saying, or
even as the rim?
Okay, check this.
Okay,
the rim and marshmallow fluff lightly hit with one of those blow torches.
That's insane with the toast. Yeah, the toast. With the torch.
Okay, I'm there with that. I like that. I think that's a good start to something right there. I don't care what's in the glass. I think that's a good start.
Yeah. Yeah. If anybody.
And I'm going to tell you right now, it sounds like some type of winter drink, because like it's almost like that little.
Or while it's still a little nippy out by the fire.
Well, anytime it's chilly.
That's right. You end up. Can you imagine having that drink? You get that. Of course, I'd have that marshmallow stuck to me, and I just had the image, and it's one of my favorite pictures. Period. But also because went to the, I told you earlier, went to the Johnny Cash Museum today, but there's a picture of Johnny Cash sitting next to a hedge eating cake, and have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got cake all over his face and everything, and he's just sitting there. And it's like, yeah, that would be drinking that cocktail.
Just leave me alone here. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah. I'm Johnny Cash. I like cake. Very tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is one of the ones too that before we got any samples or anything, Mitch gets his happy look, about whiskey. He lit up quite a bit about this place, and it was also the atmosphere of the place, period. And Morgan had mentioned earlier, about their cocktails and stuff, and that's one of the things they said for visiting. It was really cool to visit, and it just so happens they liked all the stuff that they had there too.
And this actually has nice barrel note finish on the back end underneath my tongue, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, for what this was something on our very first episode when we talked to Fred and Adam about Distill America, and they said what they wanted was to find people in a whiskey festival or spirits festival talking about vodka, or arguing about something you wouldn't normally hear. As as a vodka that was aged this way, that's really damn good.
Yeah, and this is
If
the lowest proof light whiskey I've ever had.
Yeah, and that is really, really nice at that. It's for a base from that is really cool.
Yeah, very, very tasty. That's I might end up finishing that one off on the trip.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some in here for the blend. I may have had a tiny bit of that one. That came out kind of fast.
Yeah. And that's the other thing about these for making the blend.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. Yep.
And it's actually way more precise to get something even. That's the part I like. You can actually you can have really nice control over it.
Should we keep going alphabetical and go straight to Lincoln?
Yeah, let's go to Lincoln.
All right. Which Morgan said was her favorite.
Oh, really? 2, 3, 4 squirts, 5 squirts. I'm gonna go 6. Looks like I had too much left in the container.
I accidentally put a lot in.
Oh no.
Boomer.
No, I forgot the ABV on this, but I remember it was a 4-grain corn, rye, wheat, and
I think around 58%.
Ooh, 58. Nice. New American oak barrels, minimum 2 years. I love malted. Just malted, just about anything. I'm a sucker. Sean and I were having a discussion about that. How you throw that into something, and people who don't like rye are like, "Oh, what happened?" It's just malted rye.
Yeah. Oh, well, and I'd mentioned this separately, just because it's just one of the comments that you hear from people, and then I shared it before, but someone was pouring up pot still bourbon. And I go, it's pot still, all 100% pot still distillate. I don't like pot still. You don't like pot still distillate? Why? Because I've had Willet pot still and I didn't like it. And I was like, all right. Wasn't quite sure
how to go from that. Huh?
How to react without coming across poorly. And it's like you do realize that there are others and people do it differently. And not taking anything away from Willet, it's like a lot of people buy it for the bottle. It was up and down for a while because I bought it, and it was pretty up and down. And I don't know where it's at right now, but people pay a lot for that cool looking bottle. So, and he's just like, no, I don't like pot still.
I was gonna be like I've had that same conclusion to some extent with a lot of Willet stuff and that flavor profile for me. So, yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but.
No, but I'll say you don't like any pot still because you had Willet pot still, and so now you don't like any pot still distillate. And I had another person who was they're concerned with the age. It's like I wanted to call them what we call them, but I said, well, why do you say that? Well, that's where I found my palate is at. And this was a guy who was probably 30. Okay, this is where I found where my palate's at. This, and it's got to be at least 12 years, or I'm not doing it. But you know what was his go-to? Four Roses, which does not have an age statement.
Yeah.
And is not 12 years old. It's like, so what you're saying is
when I buy a fancy one, I go with it has a number on
it. Have your opinion. Just don't make silly comments, Anyway. All right. Back to this. You get a little mustiness?
Yeah, musty, or I was going to say neat earthiness to this.
Yeah.
Almost kind of celery? I
just started writing down vegetal. Long day, folks. Sorry.
Celery and like a cellar, like.
Celery.
Yeah, it covers both. Because you're right. There is a little vegetal note in there, but it's not like overly. It's not like overly green and scary or anything.
No, it's not. No, it's not like green barrel.
It's
anything. It's just there's just a little fun funk to it.
It's like being out in a field and stepping down into your your vegetable cellar.
Yeah, it's like sitting in the garden, and you're gonna have a drink of whiskey.
Yeah, it's like halfway in between you going in and out is where this is. This is actually pretty interesting. I even get a little like black pepper on the outside edge of my nose here. Maybe a little white, but a little spice. Okay. Oh, I was inhaling a little deep there. Lighter than what I thought off the nose.
Yeah, and peppier than I thought.
Yep, on once I opened up exactly what you're saying, that's when I started getting some of the other notes, and like a little black pepper came up and in at the middle and at the front after I swallowed. Like it came back up to my lip. That was crazy.
Man, if this is 58%, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, I forgot about that. I would have. That's yeah.
That could be wrong.
You're lying. I almost.
Well, the sample's not marked, and I had done while our
I know. I
while
would
our lovely friend
the
is down for the count. I did some online research.
I did too. So
which you can always trust. Always trust the internet. Abe Lincoln said that.
A little more caramel, like a caramel toffee. Caramel and bit of honey. There's a little bit of honey underneath there, whatever like that candy, honey, a little bit of earthy note. The honey's definitely there. It finishes on the outside. Yeah, and it's on the.
I like. I for some reason more than I think I've ever said it. I like the pepperiness of this a lot.
Where is it happening to you? Because I'm get it.
It starts at the back and then comes to the front, and it just hangs out. Yeah,
but it's for me. It's like right on the tip of my tongue, and the front is like where that comes. So like I'm getting the pepperiness on the front, and then on the back half, it's all the caramelly smooth, neat notes. Yes, a bit of honey, the candy. Yes, there's a little bit of that, but real honey as well. But like that's like a back note to it.
It's weird because that pepperiness. I mean, it's like
it's about 4 seconds in,
kind of sparkly a little bit, but then
like an effervescent pepper.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, oh, so maybe more like a white pepper. Like it starts, like it takes 4 or 5 seconds in for that to like start to come around, and then like you said, and it's like black, but then all of a sudden it's like, boop, 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 boop.
Yeah,
then it's gone. Or the intensity section of it is.
I'm gonna have a touch of water, and then I'm gonna have a touch more. Because that's what you got to do.
Yeah. Because the pepper note is low to medium low. And like I said, I do think it is at least a 2 pepper blend, black, white. You might even get a little red. I remember having like a 5 or 6 pepper blend and being more into that type of stuff at one point in my life. I really was. But
it's pepper pop rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding. It's like, because it's just kind of like pepper. It's not. It doesn't sit there like you just had something that's too peppery. It's just like these little shots of pepper that are coming up, and then there's like flavor in between.
And there's enough caramel underneath and marshmallow note.
Pepper stroke. I mean, that's not wrong. It's not wrong.
It's light caramel, bit of honey, taffy, marshmallow, halfway back of your tongue. And for being as light as it is, if this is really 58, that's screwed up.
Yeah, that's not
Because honest to God, right now, this tastes like a soda. It does not. I mean, I could drink a gulp of this like a soda, and
well,
not
it
feel
has that it has that sparkliness of a carbonation.
Yeah, but I mean, like dangerous. Like, oh, a shot could be like in a glass like this. You're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
shit, I need some more. That's terrible.
It's fun. It's got good flavor to it, but it's just honestly, if it wasn't for that pepperiness, it'd be like, yeah, it's it's good bourbon. It's a good drinkable bourbon, but that makes it fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really curious what got Morgan going on it.
Yeah, we'll have to ask her when she comes in, because I hope it's that, because that's almost what's keeping the ride going. As you talk, you get a little bit of that,
yeah,
a little pepperiness, and there's just enough barrel and sweetness on the bottom of your tongue to be like, okay, it's not too intense in any way, shape, or form, but it's hell. This has, because I was going caramel and stuff like that, but the pepperiness on this, it just mental flash in my head. Sorry. What if that was on a steak? Like the peppery notes that you get off of this on a steak or in a roast.
Yeah.
I would maybe put this in just to see what would happen.
Well, that could be fun.
Hell, I feel excited.
It's an effervescent bourbon.
It is.
It's making some more notes here.
It's got me going. If you need to, it's similar in a way at this moment to a natural spirits, not as a palate cleanser, but as a, hey, let's go try some more stuff. I'm good to go.
Let's just need to bring some to Distill America.
What are you doing? Where are you handing out secret booze?
Yeah, or just go someplace. This food is bland. Do you know what this needs? Needs some Lincoln bourbon.
Needs some Lincoln bourbon.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm really pleased with some of these. I'm kind of teasing Mitch about, like, I didn't really know too many distilleries in Nebraska at all. So
yeah,
I mean, hell, for the first one we're having off this, nice choice, Morgan and Mitch. This is pretty happy with these first two things we've had from them.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go to
this could ruin the whole thing.
The Nebraska release.
Being from Iowa, I feel like I should
you're good.
Fun of Nebraska, even more so.
I'll
left the Big 12, cowards.
I will, dude. I feel like I can't believe they haven't done conference renaming at this point. It's a sham and belief. Whoa, what the hell?
What'd you do?
All of a sudden, someone took over my screen and asked if I wanted to allow an app to make changes. So there you are. You're back.
Yeah, you never went away. So
oh well, to me I did.
Yeah.
Screen went black for a second, and no changes here.
Yeah, don't do that now.
Let's see here. What are the stats on the Nebraska here?
All I've got on it from their website is straight bourbon, about 2 year.
Different.
Maybe it's 60% and 100% corn mash.
Okay, well, I was going to say this is Dusty Barn. A little much more, not the same type of herbal grain notes. Dusty Barn, a little bit of hay. Light, not like the damp, gross, hasn't been cleaned barn, but a nice, maintained barn. And sorry, there's a difference. Everyone's been to one. Well, I mean, not everyone, I guess, but. Titch of that mustiness again. I don't know if you're getting that, but like quietly in the background.
But you know what the mustiness that I get off of this?
But it's not much. It's very light.
Have you ever smelled lightly damp ears of corn?
Yeah.
That's the mustiness I get,
That's good.
which would be appropriate, I guess.
Almost the same as when you're starting to shuck corn.
Yeah.
A little bit of that.
If we say corn 3 times, I think Shannon shows up.
Corn. Maybe I didn't say it right. I think you gotta say it with a little more conviction and belief.
You have to mean it. So one
I think
thing
you have to have a cob of corn with butter on it.
you have to have butter on your keyboard. One thing Morgan did mention is that the same people that own this distillery own Kincaidor Brewing, and they've been doing that for over 10 years. So you would assume then, because as
crossover.
Mr. Todd Leopold says, you learn how to brew, you can make better whiskey.
Oh, well, yeah, and I was gonna say you make a better base, you're gonna make a better thing or more interesting. And I would be intrigued to see how that comes out in some of their stuff, you know. Okay.
Oh. Like caramelized butter on cornbread.
The cornbread, my mouth took a little vegetal turn, and I think that's where you were getting the cornbread. I was getting a little more of the actual kind of corn and a little husk flavor. First off, light caramel, a little bit of toffee. Sorry, kind of standard vanilla. Like Mike's saying, sorry, I kind of jump past some of those sometimes.
Oh, there's like a little bit at the end.
Yep.
It was like a flash. It's like where it just got. I'm trying to think of the word to describe what it did, but basically, I just got a flash of tamale.
Okay, because tamales. I'm going to go back to that. Tamale's better. I was going to go empanada.
Be like a spicy tamale.
I got white pepper for a second. Hold on, I need more.
Yeah,
I need another couple shots here. Yep, the second or third time it builds up, and I like what you're saying because here's what with a tamale for me. Sometimes the maize around the outside of it can be if they get too thick.
Yeah,
that
too much.
Obviously irritating. But this is where it's pretty decent, but the mixture on the inside is ground very well. You know what I mean? Like it comes out smooth, but it's a different flavoring when you hit it. Because when you get to that end, there is a neat twist. And it's not of spicy spices, but there's an earthen spice. Like,
yeah. Okay.
You're right. This almost drinks. Doesn't drink like a tequila, but I don't know, man. I would eat this. I would put this with Mexican food.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way that it enhances the heat, and I haven't even had it, and I want to have some tacos right now, along some other things. I wish I knew more.
Oh, this would be really
culinary.
good. With some burrito tacos.
Yeah. Do you get the dip in there? Hell yeah. I had a place in town, and I think it closed, and I was pissed. But they did Brea ramen and a taco for $10. It was fucking awesome. I would go in there, and you just ramen in the consomme, and then you just get the taco to dip in as well too. Came back from lunch happy every day. I went there.
I was down and visited Iron Root about a year ago. Need to go get some food. And it's like, all right, I got to get something because he'd been in the back. He'd already eat beforehand because you always eat beforehand. It's like, I'm going to want to eat again. And it's looking, I was going to go to a barbecue place that had been before. And Jonathan goes, you need to go to this here. He goes, you like tacos? Like, look at me. Yes, I like tacos. and he goes, go to this place. He goes, my favorite burrito tacos. It's like, okay. So go there. It's like, all right, go to order. And it's just like this little tiny place. Came out, and friend Paul and I had gotten them, and both of us were just like, oh my God, they were amazing. It's like places like that, these little holes in the wall places. What it was, good God, they were.
Especially when it's when you get the right amount of cheese, because there's a lot of places that will just make them cheese crazy heavy just to do it. And I'm like, if you get more of like a 50-50 in there, it is the most beautiful thing.
If these guys were heavy on anything, it was the sauce.
Oh, wow.
And that's not a knock.
Yeah.
It just meant there was more running down your arm. That was really it. And we were so happy. And of course, it was all over this.
What do you have to do afterwards? I had to go back to the hotel, wash my beard. And we were okay. Had some for later.
Yeah. Save that guy for later.
All right, here. Well, I got to put some into.
I'm going to do the blend. I'm going to
let the trifecta in. There we go. We got 2 squirts in there in that one. This one was interesting. Especially because of the nose. I was expecting a little bit more of a vegetal hit, and that did not happen. I'll be honest. I think I agree with Miss Morgan at Lincoln. That thing's just fun. That's a fun little start for me. And I do like the Elliot for a vodka or a little aged whiskey, whatever. That was one that I as an aged vodka, that was pretty damn tasty. Pretty goddamn tasty.
And like I said, that is truthfully, that's the lowest proof light whiskey I've ever had, and it still carried a lot of those flavors that I really like.
And I think the problem with light whiskeys is America became a mixing culture for a while, and what they mixed with was so goddamn heavy that it's, like there was a light flavor mix in for a while in America on the mass scale. Didn't happen. It was, you were getting Coke, you're getting orange juice, some other thing, like very heavy flavorings to them, to what was happening. I always liked the Always Sunny in Philadelphia thing where they're Danny DeVito's walking in and they're like, "Oh, what's that? Oh, they got screwdrivers here. That's not a screwdriver. That's just orange juice. They have just mixers here. Yeah, it's just a mixer. Some people drink them." They're like, "What? Really?" He's like, "Yeah, I had a Diet Coke mixer a couple weeks back. It was really good." I'm like, some of those flavors would kill light whiskey. You know what I mean? Like all of those, I couldn't imagine you just destroy what's going on. Ginger ale, 7-Up, something light where it's barely touching the flavor profile, but giving you a little something maybe. But I'll be the Lincoln one, fuck that. I could drink that just the way it is. That thing's just dangerous. If that's 58 all the time, that's dangerous as hell.
Yeah, very much so. And you mentioned Always Sunny. Just to also say, R.I.P. to Charlie's mom, Miss Lynn Marie Stewart, who I first got to know from American Graffiti.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, not more importantly, but a much larger role as Miss Yvonne from Pee Wee Herman. The original the Pee Wee Herman show that was on that aired on HBO. Miss Yvonne.
All right, so this is my blend is crazy. It's like almost like a peanut brittle. Like I'm getting a little more nut. I'm getting that still kind of a little caramely edge to it. A little bit of toasted marshmallow. What are you getting? Sorry, I'll shut up for a
No,
second.
I get that because I agree that there's a nuttiness that comes through. There's a caramel that comes through. Everything else, but it's like peanut brittle with some pepper on it.
Yeah, and medium level intensity is not coming out to kill your nose.
No. Okay.
Ooh,
Got oilier.
Yeah, that doesn't happen much.
No.
And like to the point where it pulled
Parts.
around my tongue heavy. Like it was like you felt it part. Like
Yeah,
Moses
flavor goes right down the middle and then yep.
Yeah, Moses is in there with a staff and
Well,
slammed
that
it
was
down.
fun. Mitch and Morgan have some homework. I should, unless things change or whatever. Mitch and Morgan are going to come to Kansas City this coming weekend, so and we'll hopefully see Mr. Jesse as well.
Well, that's cool. Damn, if I hadn't taken off last weekend, I would have been tempted to hop on a plane.
It's only a 9.5 hour drive.
The blend isn't as exciting as the Lincoln, I don't think, but it's a good blend. It gets on that exciting. It starts to chug like it's on that excitement train ride, like Lincoln was doing.
I like what it does on the palate. That's the one thing I like. The nose and everything. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I really like what it does on the palate because it's just like, oh, it's just really this nice oily flavor, whatever, and then it's like, boom, pepper.
Yeah, it's like you said, you get just to the point where you're starting to get like a fruity, little bit of a flavor. I'm gonna almost call it a berry note I had for a second, but then when it goes, it's like, ooh, and you're just left with like dry tongue. And what happened? But the outside's still going. Blend's really good too.
I know. I'm gonna grab something else here.
I can't tell you. I'm really excited about this turning out so well. I don't want to. I was nervous about Nebraska whiskey because you don't hear peep about it, and it's where it is. How many shows have you been to where a distillery from Nebraska was there? It doesn't happen.
Zero.
They seem to work around the outside edge of where that is, and with how much it is to travel and go to an event, I understand that.
Yeah,
but hell, that was really damn good. I mean,
I want to know how this pairs with those red hot dogs they serve at the football games.
The Lincoln one, I might have to get a little bit more for. That's a sleeper.
I'm doing a blend of the just Nebraska and Lincoln because I want to see what that does without the Elliott.
Hold on, I think I got a glass.
For science.
Make this happen. Science.
And I've been using the one glass all day, or night, not all day.
1, 2.
But I have been rinsing it out.
All right, lockdown. I like the vodka so much.
Lots of musty. That's what I get on the nose with just those two.
Yeah, you got more of that. I'm not so much the field, but more you're in the cellar.
Yeah.
Some bready, yeasty notes more on the nose. Like there's a bread. And I'm going to be wrong here, but like almost a pumpernickel, like this.
Yeah.
Spicier bread, but you're not in the rye category. Ooh, I'm going to need something to eat after the show. Ooh. Okay. Not as exciting as the Lincoln alone for me.
No, it's
a lighter version of it where you still get,
it's thin and dry.
Yeah,
is what I get.
And instead of getting the pop, you're getting some dude pulling those like poppers instead of like an explosion, like boo boo firework. It's some cocksucker with a popper going,
yeah,
it's your birthday. So not as explosive, but
I think just because we don't normally do multiple blends, but I have to say, if you had this nose with the palate and finish of the blend of the three, that would have been a lot of fun.
All right, how do you feel about this? I don't have much left. I'm gonna pour this out. Hell, I have glasses. I'm pretending I'm you. I have 16 glasses under here. I don't know why I'm gonna go Elliot and Link. 1, 2, 3.
Fine by me.
1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3.
I'm going to bed after this anyway.
Margaret's waiting to talk.
Yeah. We're both good. She took a nap this afternoon when we got back.
I'm gonna be honest.
I did not track how far we walked, but it had to be it had to easily be over 10 miles.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna want to hear about the Johnny Cash Museum someday. There's certain people that I hold in that certain category, and wow.
You know what? We both had the same comment. We wish that it was bigger. Yeah, hold on. I wish that it was bigger, but they packed a lot in there, and there was some really cool artifacts that they'd obviously gotten from Johnny and some from Roseanne, but Johnny had donated a lot of stuff. But then it went through the whole history, but then towards the end of it, there was a really nice display having to do with the song and video for Hurt.
Oh,
and it had the chair from the video, and it had some other stuff on there. But right before that, the one that got me more was he had written a song / poem right when he got home from June's funeral services. That was
I don't know what it said, but
it was pretty cool.
I would think it'd be amazing because the depth of sometimes people have a certain depth when they get into a situation, and you can tell what came of it from some of his songs. And I can only imagine the inspiration that hit at that moment.
Well, and even with all the American albums that were done later, which I like them all, and I like that they're all, the first two are similar, but they're a little different. But I think I can't remember if it was 4 or 5, where he did a cover of First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to that with friends of mine. We were camping, and it came on, and I'd heard his version of it before, but it was really quiet at night. I'll do it, and we all just got really quiet, and everyone came to the same conclusion. We don't know if it's true or not, but it's like, he was staring at her the whole time he's singing that. But I think it was recorded. It might have been 5, so it was recorded right after she died. Mm-hmm. But the way that it was sung, one way or another, he was looking at her when he sang that. Mm-hmm. It's pretty sweet. So, and what are you mixing so I can blend? Because
I did Elliot and Lincoln.
Okay,
I'll call that the end of the blending because this is getting out of hand. Sweet, right. Yes, Jar. How's it going?
Hi. I was annoying the heck out of him, probably everybody else in there, because because one of my best friends from kindergarten, she loves Johnny Cash, and I couldn't FaceTime her, which is really sad because she was obviously not going to come, and I couldn't FaceTime her. They said you can't take videos. I took videos anyway.
Scofflaw.
But I literally was walking. I took pictures of every single thing that I saw. So I was walking to the museum going like this.
Yeah, she 100% took pictures.
Just kept going
of every artifact, everything that was in the museum.
Yeah, I had to. I couldn't FaceTime her, and there were. I mean, I guarantee I was annoying the heck out of people behind me.
Whatever. I mean, there's some.
I didn't care.
And the one in front of you too.
Hey, you're doing that. There's me that if I got a chance to put my hand on something, I'm gonna sit there for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll be good forever.
The Hall of Fame was great because I'm so small that I literally was able to cut in front of people, and they could see over me.
The problem with some of those, a lot of museum things, but it just depends. Is you can't tell if someone's deep in thought or if they have one of the audio devices.
Oh, yeah.
There were a lot of people there who had audio devices. It just so happened that everyone with an audio device, or 99.9% of the people with audio devices, were above the age of 80. And they also wouldn't get out of anybody's way. So I am fortunate enough to be tall enough that I can look over a shoulder. And if it gets uncomfortable enough, then they might move out of the way. This one's fortunate enough, being 4'11", you can maneuver. So between the two, we got to see a lot of stuff. But I was impressed with how much modern stuff was there, along with the absolutely fantastic ancient artifacts that they had. Some of the old outfits. There's a sweet hee-haw display.
Oh,
it had their costumes. They were not big people. I mean, they were not. No. I mean, it was.
They were my size.
It was pretty much. But yeah, anyway, it was pretty cool, and seeing a lot of the old, some really killer old outfits, and seeing Chris Christopherson's Army Ranger uniform was pretty sweet, and written manuscript for me and Bobby McGee.
Oh,
yeah, that was pretty awesome. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff like that.
That's the stuff where it's like if you get there and you forget about all the nuances and the tiny things, and you're like, oh my god,
yeah,
it's just like where like I said, I might just be there for a couple minutes, like, hey, go right past me. I need to be right here. It's worth a trip. I mean, if you're in Nashville, it's worth seeing whether you like country music or not, just because, a lot of things come out of that. But they also branched out into other things, and they even had more modern stuff, including they didn't have artifacts or display, but some stuff about Beyonce and some, obviously Taylor Swift stuff.
They had an education center for her.
The Taylor Swift Education Center.
Oh my God! Do you know when you said that?
The Taylor Swift Correctional Education Center.
Oh, I went to Zoolander, where it was.
Yeah.
Luke Combs had a whole section, just like a huge, like basically hallway of just his stuff.
Yeah, I learned about Luke Combs today.
I've told you about him.
I know, but it's one of the ones. It's like I don't have the time for it. Some really nice stuff. Also, Jason Isbell, somebody who I greatly like of current, and Mr. Billy Strings, who is awesome.
Billy Strings is fucking awesome.
Anyway, no, it's very cool. So we've done plenty of touristy stuff. So
yeah, I had him listen to 3 Lainey Wilson songs before we went to her restaurant. So I was like, if you're gonna go there, you have to listen to at least one of her songs. He liked them.
It's kind of fair.
He thought they were fine.
They were fine.
Taylor Swift is better though.
It's not my thing, but
Taylor Swift is better.
Yes, of course. I saw Johnny Cash on the Muppet Show back in the day. For God's sakes,
we just saw it last week.
Good.
Yeah,
that is good. I did Elliot and Lincoln.
They had a little theater where they were playing clips of Johnny Cash's acting at the museum, and they had the one. So I remember the episode of him on Columbo, and they had the clip had that one, and then they had Columbo and Little House on the Prairie, and then now I'm trying to remember the movie.
My dad was such a big Columbo fan. I
love Columbo.
I know the episode. It was
Columbo.
One of my favorite shows when I was a kid.
I still love watching it. It's still it's great.
Do you know how many times I do at work, and the old people, I'm like, hey, just one more thing.
Yeah.
When I'm about to screw someone over, I'm like, hey, but just one more thing. What about?
Yeah, if you go to Memphis, though, you should see Sun Studio at least once. It's like one of those things where you go to Sun Studio once and you're like, nah, we're okay.
But it's one of those things like you do want to see it too.
Yeah, well, because it's not. It's not
because you want it's Sun Studio. You want.
It's not a studio anymore. It's just like a shop. But they give tours, and I was going to go into another room, but I couldn't because they were giving me a tour. They still have all the recording stuff upstairs, and I'm not allowed to go up there. I didn't care, so I waited till the tourists, all the tour guide and all the people had their back turned, and I ran up the stairs so fast, took like 20 pictures, and ran back down.
She can sneak though. I can't.
I'm like, and he's
You're lucky. He's your distraction. You know that, right?
I'm not running up the stairs. And second of all, if I were to run up and down the stairs, it would sound like someone threw some bowling balls down the steps.
That's what I mean. Like, you're her distraction.
He told me to not.
Knock some stuff over.
Well, he told me that I can't do that, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I waited for him to back turn. I'm like, "Oh, screw this! I'm going upstairs." So all the old original recording booths are still up there, microphones, everything. And I just ran up there, took like 20 pictures, and like 5 seconds later, I ran back down. Pretty sure he saw me. I don't care. Yeah.
You couldn't have been the first one to do that.
To do that, but I mean, like, to that, if you would just let me go put my hand inside one of the recording booths.
I did touch a few things.
And
now
sit
you
there for a second and try to absorb. Your dad's like, stop talking. You're getting us in trouble. I don't
we didn't say when we did that because it was a while ago. It was at least outside the statute of limitations.
That is true. Okay, I got a little bit left. I have to stop because I've had too much this evening.
I like the Elliott and Nebraska blend.
Yeah, it wasn't what I expected.
I like that comment.
Yes, Miss Renita, she is a petite woman as well.
Yeah, no, I like that.
My wife and I weave through crowds too. So there's when I'm with you guys, I feel like I'm at Great American. I can just leave you like 5 rows back, him and Mitch and Morgan and Kevin. I'm like, whoa, see ya.
Yeah. You guys wear balloons so I can see.
Okay, I have had. I don't know if your friends did this to you. I have had my friends suggest that at concerts or, outdoor venues, bigger ones where you have all-day events like Warped Tours and other things in the past, that I should wear a backpack with one of those flags that goes up and is orange so you can find me in the crowd.
Wait, how tall are you?
Only like 5'7", 5'8", somewhere in that ballpark. But everyone else, he's like, you're 5'3". No, that's just because you're tall and you can look down on people.
You're 5'3", 5'7" with the afro.
I did pretend to be 12 years old today to get on the kids menu.
I fucking love you. That's awesome.
Well, when she says pretend, they didn't ask.
They didn't ask.
Well, I look like I'm 12, so it worked.
Yep.
But if you go to Culver's, there is you get the kids' food and it's $5.99, or you get the same meal for you and it's $9.99.
Right.
And you get a cone with the kids' meal. I'm sorry.
Yeah. 2
kids' meals, please.
Getting the cone.
My parents are old. That's all they can have. That's more than they need.
Yeah,
all right.
We did get discounts today at the museum and the Hall of Fame because I'm a student. He's AAA.
Nice. Oh, 5'5". Not far off. My mom was 4'11". And I'm gonna be honest, she said the scariest thing to my dad on her wedding night. I've shared this with some other people in the past. Her father was not the nicest individual, so take that into account. And my dad, who is, from all accounts I've had, pretty good and slightly saintly, except for a few minor occasions of being drunk once or twice in his life. So I was pretty good. She told him after they were married at the reception and stuff, she's like, leaned over, hey, just remember, no one's bigger than me when they're sleeping. Let me tell you, that's some scary shit.
Well, what happens to you when you're sleeping?
I don't know, but it was just like her like, she was all safe and said, put out there, like, if you do screw me over, Like the turnabout will come. So, yeah, don't ever look down or be, I don't know, look over people who are short. All right, Mike, do you have anything left here before we take off for the evening?
I got nothing.
You got nothing? Do you even have a sample left?
Oh, I do. No, I put the Elliott in Nebraska.
Okay.
Or no.
Yeah.
Elliott and Lincoln.
Yeah. All right here. Well, if you learned anything tonight, that Nebraska is exciting, or at least Lincoln is. If we go visit Mitch, this is definitely a place I'm going to want to talk about that.
I'll say Sideshow Spirits. It's great.
Yeah.
Jury's still out on Nebraska.
Oh, well, okay.
No, I'm kidding.
You could. Hey, I respect rivalries. Okay.
No, I like Nebraska. Omaha. I like going to Omaha and Lincoln. They're fun towns.
But their corn's not as good as Iowa, is it?
No.
Nope. So, all right. Well, thank you everyone for being with us this evening. Sideshow Spirits has some really interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to trying some of the other things they have, especially some of their own releases. I saw they had a single malt coming out, so I am intrigued to see what that tastes like, just because of what the Lincoln tastes like with their malted barley. I want to see where that goes to in there. Maybe it still has some pop fireworks in it. But on that note, remember, it's not the size of the den, it's the love of whiskey. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Let's get into it.